the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball. You got it?
There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball.
Viva Cuba Libre. Welcome into episode number 61 of the Pick Top Podcast, the hardest hitting 30 minutes of baseball coverage you will get all week. With me, as usual, my name is Mike, Bitter Mike Babbo, by the way, but with me, as usual, is my shotgun rider, Mr. Aric Schuler. Aric, how you doing this week?
I'm good, Mike. Heading into the weekend, so I got to give a shout out before we get started here.
Yeah,
Lady Longhorns softball team, back-to-back national champions.
Hey, that was a great game to watch. There's some incredible defense being played by the Texas Tech Raiders too. I'm
going to tell you right now. Our buddy Travis Harper and myself have been talking about this quite a bit. These ladies or women are getting so good and so powerful and throw the ball so hard that they're going to have to start talking about expanding the field here for these young ladies. I
agree.
mean, they're just incredible athletes. They're so fast. They have cannons for arms. They hit the ball so far. And nowadays the pitchers are throwing so hard that if you can just put a bat on it, you can smack it out of the park. So pretty impressive by the Lady Longhorns, back-to-back national titles. Great softball being played. Just exciting all around.
Yeah, I mean, they were down like 1-0 until the fifth inning.
Yeah, 1-0 until the fifth. And
then, of course, I was talking about the great defense, but then it turned on a crushing
it had
error.
to be an error, and it just unlike the Texas Tech Red Raiders well-coached team. But
yes.
I mean, what a great game! Really, I've been watching softball for the last couple weeks, kind of invasively, just because I've been following the Longhorns. But
well, you do have 3 girls, so you're gonna have to get yourself prepared,
for sure. But just really quality softball. I mean, I watched a lot of softball games over the last 2 weeks, and just really, I mean, kind of incredible talents.
Super.
All across the board.
Yeah,
so.
it was great all around, and like you said, congratulations to the Lady Longhorns, back-to-back champions. That's fantastic.
Yep, big deal.
Let's lay out this show. We're going to talk about some latest news and notes out of the major leagues. We'll take a quick peek at the division standings. We'll find out who's wearing us out. And then we'll look at some key matchups this weekend. But, Aric, I think, look, I need to get something off my chest here. We are local here in San Antonio, and, of course, our beloved San Antonio Spurs are playing in the NBA Finals. They lost Game 1 on Wednesday, and I will tell you, look, I love the game of basketball. I love the flow of it. I love the rhythm of it. I love watching, just 5 guys just go in unison. But I haven't watched the NBA in earnest in 7 years, and I'll tell you, I've tried to watch. I tried to watch the first 4 games of the Western Conference Finals, and I tried to watch Game 1 of the Finals. And if this is the best that the NBA has to offer, now I'm glad I haven't wasted 7 years of my life watching the NBA, because it's an abomination. To me, the quality of play has deteriorated rapidly. Everybody travels. They call it a Eurostep. I call it a travel. Everybody palms the ball when they're bringing it up the court. Nobody moves without the basketball. Poor shot selection, poor shooting. I think in the second half of the shots by the Knicks were air balls, or they didn't even reach the rim. It was just disgusting, and it's just like they shot 37% from the field, and they won by 10 points.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll tell you, I've been watching, the NBA since I was a kid. We talk a lot about Derek Jeter. Tim Duncan was right in my wheelhouse. He got drafted when I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I will
tell the big fundamentals, what they called it.
The big fundamental. But I will tell you, it's hard for me to watch too, because I grew up watching a guy like Tim Duncan. And so, and watching a Spurs, a pop coach Spurs team that was extremely fundamental.
Played the beautiful game, right?
That's
the passing, moving without the ball.
That's right. But I will say, all games go through changes. The NBA has gone through a change. It went through a change. Look, there's a lot of folks that watched the NBA in the early 90s and in the late 90s and the early 2000s that hated it, right? Thought it was boring. And look, there's probably some truth to that. I will tell you, I missed the time, right, given the fact that I'm a huge Spurs fan. I watched the Spurs play today. They're up 14. They have no idea how to slow the game down. They have no idea how to get a quality shot.
And what's a 7'4" guy, raining up 27-footers. He needs to be in the paint, trading elbows with people.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Because they were one and done every time on this side of the floor.
I agree. I would just say my only caveat to that is I agree it's frustrating, but games, sports leagues, they do go through ebbs and flows of style of play. And right now we're in a very much ISO environment. I talk a lot with the guys here about these games. No lead is safe, and that's from both sides of the floor.
Yeah, because everybody's in love with a 3-pointer.
Yeah,
a 10-point lead used to be something quite comfortable. Now it's just three possessions on the floor.
But I will tell you, my dad and I have been talking about this since I was a kid. The only way that you can take all the mishaps that could take place in a game, the only way that you could take, like whether it be the referees, right? There's just a lot of nuances.
Refs are going to be part of the game.
Agreed, but the only way that you can take them out of the game, where you can make all the things that they do irrelevant, is by raining 3-pointers. It's the only way that you can do it.
Well, that's a shame because that makes the game boring. I'm sorry,
but the truth is, if you come in and you shoot 45% from 3-point land and you take 40 shots, you will run the other team out of the gym.
Yeah, I know, but it's just so boring.
I agree,
because
Mike,
everyone's just standing around playing grab ass, and it's just a one-on-one game. I mean, so shout out to LeBron and Steph Curry for ruining the NBA.
Shot. I mean, look, I don't care for LeBron either. But I'm just saying, all leagues come in, they have the ebbs and flows of the style of play. But hey, Spurs are going tonight.
Yep.
Okay, lost game 1. Who do you like tonight?
I would like to watch the game and be entertained. Let's put it that way. I mean, I'm going to watch the first 5 or 10 minutes, but if I'm going to have to sit through and suffer through what I watched through in game 1, I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to go watch some baseball. I really, because it is just not entertaining to me. I mean, the Spurs have to be they have to be a lot better at offensive rebounding if they're going to have a chance. Okay.
Yeah.
And this one and done thing is not. And stop with the freaking live ball turnovers.
Yeah, I mean,
really poor.
Turnovers are a problem.
That's another thing. They don't take care of the basketball.
I will tell you, game 2 tonight, Spurs are coming in. Spurs have got to make some adjustments versus last game. Spurs looked very flat to me. They looked exhausted. Yeah. They looked like they felt like they had won the NBA Finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I'll tell you, if I'm a Thunder fan, I get very frustrated by this sort of stuff because I've seen this happen to the Spurs. I've seen it happen to my Yankees. I've seen it happen to a lot of sports fans. Sports teams that I'm a fan of. Is that you play a very hard-fought season, and let's say that your team ends up on the wrong side and you lose that series. Then the team that looked like world beaters against you go into the next round and look like they've never seen a basketball before.
Right.
And that's why I feel like if you're an Oklahoma City fan, you should probably feel like that today because the Spurs play all world against you, and then they go in the Knicks, and honestly, they lay an egg. They look awful. They're throwing up 3-point shots that aren't even close. They're hitting the side of the backboard on corner threes. I mean, all of this stuff, it's got to be wearing an Oklahoma City fan out. But I like the Spurs tonight to get back on track. Game 2's bounce-back game. I like them to come out with some energy, play a little bit different game, get Wemby some more looks down in the paint. And I think San Antonio in a hard-fought game will take Game 2, and I really do think this series is headed to 7.
All right. Well, game 2 tonight, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central on your local ESPN network. Give it a look, and hopefully it will be a compelling and competitive game.
And hopefully the Spurs win.
Yeah, and of course, hopefully the Spurs win. All right, turning back to the game that is Major League Baseball. Some news and notes around the major leagues, and we only have one item of note, but it's a big one, Aric, and it is from New York. And MVP, 3-time MVP and reigning MVP, right fielder Aaron Judge for the New York Yankees has been diagnosed with a stress fracture in the first right rib. He has been dealing with this issue for the last several weeks now. It really started becoming a problem in their road series against the Athletics in Sacramento. He has been out the last 3 games. They have gone through tests. He was advised to go through an MRI and a CAT scan, as well as X-rays by a noted surgeon who specializes in thoracic outlet syndrome, which is not a good sign. They finally diagnosed it as this stress fracture in the rib, and they are going to shut him down for 4 to 6 weeks and then reevaluate it. which is very ominous to me because that doesn't say that he's going to be back in 4 to 6 weeks. That just means they're going to reevaluate in 4 to 6 weeks. And then even if they give the green light, thumbs up, whatever you want to call it, then he's going to have to go into rehab for another 2 weeks because this is a big guy, all right? And he has big muscles and big bones. And when they break or when they stretch, it takes a while for him, and so he could be missing 40 games here.
Yeah, my expectation is he's out through the end of July. That would be my expectation here. I mean, I think it's going to be 8 to 10 weeks before you see him back on the field. I will tell you, I prefer that they come out and say, "Hey, we're going to shut him down until the end of July." Yeah, just because, hey, get the team on board with what's going to happen for the next 2 months.
I mean, that's 6 weeks.
Yeah, and basically tell them, hey, this is the situation. The Yankees, we've talked about this. Dog days of summer are here. We're getting into June, July, August. I think the Yankees are going to have to get on board with that pitching staff carrying them. A 2-1 type ball game that they won last night is very appealing, but you can't be losing ball games 9-5. That's not going to get it done.
No.
And so the most frustrating part for the Yankees is in an environment where they've seen the first place Rays struggle over the last 10 games, right? The Yankees have gone 8-2. Right?
Yeah, they closed the gap for sure.
They have gone 7-3, and they're still a half game out of first place. Right, so
but they're doing what they had to do. They closed the gap.
I agree, but I'm just saying it's tough to still be in second place in the division and have your star power go down in the dog days of summer. The Yankees have going to have to do some soul searching here because there's a lot of teams heating up in the NL East.
I'm very concerned for what this is going to do to Ben Rice's numbers because now he's not going to have him Judge protecting him. Giancarlo Stanton is still out. And look, Cody Bellinger has had a nice season so far, but the rest of that lineup is struggling. I mean,
such is life.
Yeah, that's true.
Life. Are you the MVP or are you not?
Yeah,
right. I mean, you talked about it yesterday. Do we think Rice is an MVP caliber player? We're going to find out right now.
Yeah, we're going to find out. All right, let's take a peek on what's going on in the division standings. Look up at who's hot and who's not. Let's go ahead and talk about the AL East. The Tampa Bay Rays did hit a rough patch. They lost 8 of their last 10, including swept by the Detroit Tigers at home. I mean, and the Tigers have been really struggling. They had at the time the worst record in the American League, and for you to get boat raced by the Tigers, that's not good. The Yankees, like we talked about, closed the gap with a 7-3 spurt. The Orioles are starting to play some better ball. They swept the Tampa Bay Rays. They took 2 or 3 from Boston. No mean feat. I mean, even in Boston,
just got to play your schedule, man.
Right, exactly. So I mean, this is the right time, if there's any right time, for Judge to leave. And of course, their pitching staff is still rock solid. Yeah, I like how this race is shaping up, Aric.
Yeah, so I'm excited about this. I'll tell you, Tampa Bay is scrappy. I am blown away that they can have this type of run and still be in first place in the division. That's it's just interesting to me that can take place. But I will say, I want to see a tight one at the top of this division. I think these types of divisions where you have to go out and win ball games in August and in early September, I think it makes for a team that's hardened when they get to the playoffs.
Yep.
They have to win important games. It's tough when you're 15 games up with a month to play. You're just not
you go
playing
into coast mode and you can't really flip.
You're
the
not
switch.
playing a lot of intense ball games at that point. So I like me a close divisional race. Looks like this is shaping up to be one as we head into the halfway point of the season.
Excellent. Turning to the AL Central, the Cleveland Guardians are still on top, but the White Sox are gaining ground.
3 games above 500.
I'm telling you, they went from this time last week a minus 17 run differential to plus 11.
Yep.
And Davis Martin, their ace, is doing very, very well. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They had a 5-game winning streak snapped. Their pitching staff allowed 3 or fewer runs in each of those games. And you know what? They're playing like a team that is really, really enjoying playing for each other and with each other. And you gotta give it up to them.
Give it up for Chicago. I mean, they're
they're filling the place up.
And they're 20-11 at home. I mean, you're giving the home fans
it's insane.
Something to be excited about. So this is unexpected. I thought these guys were going to lose 100 games. No problem.
We all did. I think. Certainly, shout out to Chris Vela. He thought that they were going to lose 95 to 100 ball games.
But I will say that look. I usually want to talk about the carrot, not the stick.
Yeah.
But the Royals and the Detroit Tigers, what a joke.
Yeah, I know.
What a joke. You have no business being in last place.
I get to someone who's wearing me out right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Lucas Erceg.
Tell me more.
The Royals closer. He's blown 4 of his last 5 save opportunities. They finally bounced him from the closer job. They put in, I believe, Varland. But Noah Cameron pitched an absolute gem, I believe, on Wednesday. He gave up, in 7 innings, he gave up 1 hit, a solo home run, and the bullpen couldn't hold it. And they lost. And, that, like I said, he's been Ursig has not gotten the job done. And, that bullpen was supposed to be a strength for them. They were supposed to have fixed it. Obviously, they have not. And so he's wearing me out. And I talked to my boy, Nick Bedina. Shout out to Nick. And he just said, I'm stopped watching. They break your heart too much.
I would tell you there are some teams in the league where it's hard to be a fan. The Royals are one. The Royals are one of those teams.
Tell me about
it. Coming off 3 World Series in the last 20 years. Come on.
They haven't. They've got one winning. So we're talking about the Giants. They've had one winning season since 2016. That, by definition, your definition, Mr. Eric Schuler, is a failure.
We agree on that. That's a problem. But I'm going to tell you right now, as a Spurs fan, I'm going to take a step back to the NBA here. As a Spurs fan, this is why it's so important, Spurs fans or Giants fans or Yankees fans.
Yeah.
When you win and you go to the big championship and you win it, you better celebrate because you never know when it's going to happen.
Don't get me wrong. I am not nearly as angry and nasty. I don't throw things at the TV. I don't flip the food table or whatever like I used to do when I was younger because we got 3 rings in 5 years.
Just make sure that you embrace the moment because I'm telling you, think about what the Bulls feel like. The Bulls feel like they were on cloud 9 for 10 years in the league.
Right.
We've won 6 of 10.
Right.
They think we're going to be here all the time, and they haven't sniffed the NBA Finals since Michael Jordan walked out the door. And so I'm just saying,
no, I enjoy it.
Appreciate the times when your teams are relevant and good because you never know when they could get into a rut.
It's fleeting. Yeah. Turning to the AL West, the Seattle Mariners, they're doing what you expect them to do. They're taking the rightful place up top. They vault to the top of the standings with an 8-game win streak that was snapped on Wednesday by the New York Mets. The Rangers and Astros
8-2 over the last 10.
8-2 over the last 10. All right, they're starting to play some better ball. The Rangers and Astros are starting to play some better ball, but they're still under 500. And the Athletics just keep on hanging around with their hitting.
Yeah, I'm impressed with the A's. The A's and the White Sox right now, I think those are the 2 teams that are kind of overachieving in my opinion. Did not think the A's would be here this late at this juncture in the season. I really thought they'd probably be in last place, 10 games out, but they're not. They're 2.5 games out in second place, playing pretty good baseball. And so right now, Seattle's going to do. Seattle right now is the best team in this division. We're going to find out how serious they are about competing. Dog days of summer are here.
Right.
We're going to see what they do down the stretch. These next 2 months are going to be the tail sign of whether or not they're going to take their rightful spot at the top of that division. Right now, it's looking good. They're still only 3 games over 500. They need to continue to rattle off wins. That's after going 8-2. And so they're going to have to continue to win because I'm telling you right now, the Athletics aren't going to go away. They're going to hang in there.
And I think you were right from last week. You said the Houston Astros, they're starting to get their hitting back together. If they can get any semblance of pitching out of Tatsuya Imai and get Hunter Brown back, they could be scary.
Yeah, this is the problem, Mike. This is the problem for teams like Seattle, is that when you have the best team in the division and you basically you basically squander a 50-game set.
Yeah, you can't coast.
Yeah, you squander a 50-game set in which 2 of the teams that should compete for the division, the Rangers and the Astros, don't play quality baseball, and you come out and you're only 2.5 games up in the division.
Right.
My thing is that's a problem. And teams like the Astros, who, in my opinion, is the most successful team in this division over the last 20 years, right, will come back, and if they get things in order, they will compete for this division.
Right. Turning to the National League in the East, the Atlanta Braves are the class of the league still. Ronald Acuna Jr. went on an absolute home run tear. He hit 5 home runs in a 4-game stretch. But they're still without their catching duo of Drake Baldwin and Sean Murphy. They're out with injuries, no timetable for their return, and so that is a concern. They actually traded for a catcher, and then they DFA'd Chadwick Trump. But Philly is the only other team above 500, but they're on a tear right now. And Christopher Sanchez just lost his scoreless inning streaks at 50 2/3. I was actually watching that game against the Padres. Man, the Phillies actually cheered somebody for a change.
Yeah. Do you think this division's over, Mike?
No, because I don't think Philly and Atlanta have played each other yet.
Yeah, I mean, right now,
And look, and Philly still has two. Sorry to interrupt you, but they have two Cy Young Award candidates, Zach Wheeler and Christopher Sanchez, and I still think that they can certainly make a run at this. Yes, what is it? An 8-game lead? 8.5.
8.5. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it seems like they're lapping the field, and they've got everybody healthy, and of course Spencer Strider is doing okay, but Chris Sale is back to being Chris Sale. But I don't count out the Phillies. I mean, Don Mattingly has them playing loose. He has that clubhouse calm, and Kyle Schwarber is still hitting bombs, and Brandon Marsh has turned it around, and it's just a matter of time for Bryce Harper to really start going on a tear. He goes in streaks. He doesn't play well in one half, and he plays really, really well in the second half.
Yeah, I worry about teams like Philadelphia. Same thing with the Yankees of note. But I worry about teams that are relying so heavily on hitting the ball at the ballpark. Like it gets to a point where the better the pitching that you're going to face, the more important it is that you get the bat on the ball and put it in play.
Right.
And so that's what concerns me about teams like the Phillies having to make big runs. I mean, an 8.5 game hole is still a hole.
Right.
And you have to put together a long, a kind of a really good run of playing quality baseball for long periods of time to kind of eat away at that type of divisional lead. Because let's be honest, the Braves aren't just going to stop playing. And so that's the only thing that concerns me here is, do the Phillies have the type of team it's going to take to crawl out of this hole, and are the Atlanta Braves going to let them do it? Mm-hmm. Right now, the Atlanta Braves, in my opinion, look like the more sound baseball team. They're putting the ball in play. They're hitting, just timely home runs with guys on base. And so I'm just curious on if the Phillies have what it takes to crawl out of this hole with the type of team they've put together. It's going to start on the mound.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Turning to the NL Central, the Brewers are widening their lead like they did last year. It's a 4.5 game lead, but the Pirates are playing very, very well, and they got Jared Jones back. That's a big plus. But Paul Skeens had another clunker a couple of days ago.
Yeah, he's kind of has a habit of this.
Yeah,
for as good. I mean, every once in a while he goes out there and he puts together a poor performance.
Yeah.
And I think, me and you have talked about this. I think when these guys that have electric stuff, I think these hitters in the big leagues are so good, Mike, that if there's any sign of knowing what's coming, they can hit it.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes these guys get in a rut. Teams say, hey, we've kind of figured something out about him. And it takes the organization that Skeens plays for to go out and make sure they're changing things up every start. Because I think sometimes these guys go out and they look like Ned in the first grade, and I think, golly, it's got to be.
There's intelligence and there's counterintelligence, right?
Yeah.
You got to have to be watching. You got to have guys in the dugout watching to make sure your guys in tipping pitches.
Correct. And sometimes I think that happens because you have guys like Skeen that have electric stuff. He goes out and looks like a world beater, 3-4 starts in a row, and then he throws out a real clunker. That's kind of where I go.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows what's going on? But he does have a tendency to put one out there that's a stinker.
Yeah, they're actually in Houston this weekend, and they actually took the first game 5-1. They've actually scored 5 runs or more in the last 5 or 6 games. The Pirates have no problem with their offense anymore, like years past. So
but give it up for the AL or the NL Central. I mean, God, what a division!
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, you got 6.5 games separating 5 teams. I mean, what an awesome deal.
Yeah. And then finally
and all over 500. By the way.
Except one. No, the Reds now are a game under 500.
I thought they were 31-30. Is that?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, they are a game of 500.
Yeah.
So, I read it wrong. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, we talk about that 500 mark.
It's cool. I know. Turning to the NL West, finally, the Dodgers are still lapping the field, and the Padres are helping them. They are really struggling. Their offense is really, really struggling. I think they got swept in Philadelphia. And of course, the Diamondbacks got a reality check. I think they got swept by the Dodgers after facing the Rockies and the Giants, the bottom feeders. Who, by the way, do you know the only 2 teams that are more than 8 games out of the wild card are the Rockies and the Giants? I said the Dodgers. I meant the Giants. Sorry.
I did not know that.
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yep, they're the only 2 teams in major leagues more than 8 games out. That qualifies as sucking.
I think the story of this division is not the Dodgers. The Dodgers are doing exactly what we expected them to do. The story of this division for me is how poorly the Padres are pitching. I think I'm surprised by that. I thought the Padres would be nipping at the Dodgers' heels. I do think the Dodgers still have the best team in the division, but I thought the Padres would play a little bit better than this. We're moving into, we're through a third of the way, and so my deal is the Padres need to be the team that's going to compete with the Dodgers. If that's not going to happen, I think the Dodgers run away with this thing.
Right. All right. Anybody else wearing you out, Eric?
So the big thing for me from a fan base perspective is I would be very, very frustrated if I was the fan base of some of these teams like the Pirates. The Pirates have been tasked over the last, over my whole life, Mike. Since I was a kid, the Pirates have been irrelevant. They've been tasked with trying to put something quality on the field. They go out and do that, and now they play in the toughest division in baseball and can't get ahead.
They can't.
They
can't buy it.
That has got to be very frustrating for fan bases like the Pirates. The Pirates have a quality team this year. They sit in the top 5 of many statistical categories in the league. They're a great baseball city.
They got a Cy Young candidate, and he's not pitching like one, right? And
they've done what they've been asked to do, and now they play in right now the toughest division in baseball.
Yeah,
with all the teams having the capability to win that division, that has got to be frustrating as a fan of the Pirates.
Yeah.
And as a fan of nostalgic baseball. You know what I think about the NL Central.
Sure,
it's a nostalgic division.
A lot of
for
legacy
me.
teams for sure.
And I'll tell you. It's easy for me because I'm on the outside looking in. I'm not really a fan of any of these teams. I'm a fan of baseball. I don't care who wins the division. But golly, if you're a fan of the Pirates, got to be frustrating.
Yeah. All right, turning to the marquee matchups this weekend. Last week, Eric, we focused on the National League. This week, it just so happens the 3 biggest matchups that I see are in the American League. First is the I'm going to still call them the Oakland Athletics. They are 31-31. They travel to Houston to face the Houston Astros, who are 28-35. Friday is Jack Perkins with a 2-2 record, and he's got a 5.46 ERA against Peter Lambert, 4-4 with a 3.77 ERA. Saturday's Oakland starter has not been announced. He's going to go up against Tatsuya Imai, who's 2-3 with a 5.52 ERA. Sunday, Gage Jump goes for the Athletics. He's 1-1 with a 3.75 ERA against Mike Burrows, 3-4 with a 5.66 ERA. The Athletics featuring Shea Langoliers, who leads all catchers with 14 home runs, and the reigning AL Rookie of the Year, Nick Kurtz, is leading the majors with a 440 on-base percentage. For the Astros, Jeremy Pena has returned from the IL. I think he came off of the IL May 18th, and since then he's hitting .286 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. Closer Josh Hader finally comes off the IL and will make his season debut. I don't think he pitched yesterday because they lost, but they're hoping to get him back in and going. Eric, how do you see this matchup? I know who you want to win.
Yeah, so
I think is going to win.
I think now is the time. If the Astros are going to get their season back on track, they got some guys coming back from the injured list. I think now's the time they got to start taking series. They got to start winning 2 out of 3, especially against. Look, I'm impressed with what the Athletics have done, but I will tell you they are not, they're not the best team in the league, right? It's not like the Dodgers are coming to town, and so I think this is where the Astros have to start. It's going to start, their offense is going to be fine. It's their pitching staff that's going to have to perform a little bit easier at home. I like the Astros take 2 out of 3 here and get back on track.
Yeah, I do too, because I think the Astros offense is starting to wake up, and the Oakland Athletics pitching staff is uneven at best.
Yeah, and so I think that immediately puts one game definitely in the Houston camp, and then they just have to scrap out another game.
All right. Next is the Baltimore Orioles at the Toronto Blue Jays. Baltimore is 30-33. The Blue Jays are 29-33. On Friday, we will see Brandon Young go for the Orioles. He's 3-1 with a 3.35 ERA against Trey Savage, 2-2 with a 2.19 ERA. Saturday is Kyle Bradish, 3-6 with a 3.44 ERA. And the Blue Jays have yet to announce their starter on Saturday, but Sunday is Shane Baz, 3-5 with a 4.29 ERA against Kevin Gausman. He's got a 4-4 record with a 3.36 ERA. The Orioles, they finally got Jackson Holiday back from that hamate fracture. He's their second baseman. He's hitting .243 with 2 home runs and .731 OPS. That's good, too, because Jeremiah Jackson, who was filling in so capably, has cooled off considerably for them. And their corner infielder, Kobe Mayo, who's showing signs of life after hitting 169 in March and April. He's hitting .234 in May, but with a respectable .716 OPS, and he's had some pretty key home runs. For the Blue Jays, the machine. We haven't talked about him, Jose Barrios. We talked about him at length last year, and I think we put the hex on him. He went down for Tommy John surgery, and he is lost for the rest of this season and most of next season. So that is a huge blow for them. They got Trey Savage back, but they also lost Dylan Cease. He goes on the IL. And closer Jeff Boffman, he got bounced from his closer role in favor of Louis Varland. The surprise, though, is second baseman Ernie Clement. He's hitting .302 and leading the majors with 19 doubles and the American League with 71 total hits. Aric? Talk to me.
Biggest series of the weekend, in my opinion. The reason why I think that is because you have both these teams tied in the division. I think if one of these teams comes in and kind of takes this, they kind of create some separation. Less teams to climb over to get to the top is important. And so I think that's why this series is big. One of these teams is going to take a step forward. I like the Orioles here. I think Toronto is struggling to score runs. I just like the Orioles here.
I don't know who they are. I don't know who the Blue Jays are, Aric. I mean, it seems like they win 4 in a row and then they lose 5 in a row.
Yeah,
it's weird.
But it goes back to what we've talked about. I know I refer to the Yankees a lot, but they just lose and win ball games the same way the Yankees do. They'll lose a game 2-1. They'll win a game 10-9.
Yeah.
It's just this inconsistent approach to how they win and lose ball games. And so I think right now the Jays are not ready to take that step. The Orioles are heating up a little bit. So I like the Orioles to take care of business here.
I'm surprised that you actually say that this is the most important series this weekend because the next one...
No one cares about these guys anymore.
Somebody cares about... Look, a lot of people care about these two teams, but I mean, this might not be very competitive. And we're talking about the Boston Red Sox, the Bean Eaters. They travel to New York and face the Bronx Bombers. The Red Sox are 26-35. They face the Yankees at 37-25. Friday is Sonny Gray with a 6-1 record with a 3.06 ERA against Ryan Weathers. He's 2-3 with a 3.52 ERA. Saturday, Ranger Suarez, their big free agent acquisition, 2-3 with a 3.38 ERA against Will Warren. He's 7-1 with a 3.22 ERA. And Sunday, Connolly Early, the big man. He is 5-3 with a 2.326 ERA against Cam Schlittler. He's 7-3 with a 1.89 ERA. The Red Sox, they finally put Trevor Story on the shelf, and he went on the IL with a sports hernia surgery, so he's out for the year. Marcelo Romeo takes over at shortstop for him, thank God, because Trevor Story was just killing them. He was just an absolute rally killer. But they got some ominous news from Garrett Crochet. He was shut down from some rehab work while he recovers from his back, and he has a low-grade lat strain. He hopes to resume throwing soon, but my guess, probably another month on the IL. Their lone bright spot offensively is Wilson Contreras. He's hitting .281 with 11 home runs and 33 RBIs and an .891 OPS, and their president of baseball operations, Craig Breslow, is already on the phone looking to upgrade that offense. Pal, you should have done this in the offseason.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you about this series right now.
Okay, let me go over the Yankees first.
Go ahead.
Garrett Cole, since his return, 3 games, 1-1 with a 2.00 ERA. His first 2 starts, awesome. 12 innings pitched, no earned runs. Last start, not so good. 4 earned runs and a 5 1/3. Ben Rice, my early season AL MVP pick. I'm sorry. What he's doing, I mean, from the left side of the plate, and they need a left-hander. 304 with 17 home runs and 44 RBIs and a 10.42 OPS. That leads, I believe, the major leagues. And after hosting the Red Sox, they travel to Cleveland to face the AL Central leaders and then go to Toronto to hopefully finish off the Blue Jays. So this is important.
That's the takeaway for me here, right? So you're going to play a struggling Boston team, right? You just lost your star.
You got to
sweep
for
2 months.
Yeah.
You got to take 2 of 3. Okay.
Yeah.
But my point there is that if you don't take 2 of 3, if somehow the Yankees go in and lay an egg, okay, then I want to put all this Ben Rice stuff to bed. Okay. So that's number one, right? The second thing is the Yankees struggle with Cleveland. They struggle with Cleveland. Cleveland owns the Yankees.
Really?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you, it wears me out. So I'm gonna tell you, if the Yankees don't get on here, if they don't go and take care of business against Boston, then they're going to go to Cleveland. Then they got to play a Toronto team that could be like.
Yeah, they're ankle biters, right?
Right. But over the next 10 games, though, if Toronto decides to turn the corner, right, they're going to run to a Toronto team. But then they got to go play the White Sox. They got to play the Reds. So I'm just saying they need to start right now because Boston is on the mat. You need to go take care of business. We talk about it all the time. Play your schedule. You can't do anything about playing
Right,
a
you
poor
gotta
team.
step on their neck.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
go out there and beat the team that's 11 games out of first.
All right, sounds good. Anything else, Aric?
That is it. Watch some baseball this weekend, folks. Go Spurs, go. That's all I got to say.
Okay, fantastic. Like we said, 8:30 tonight. I hope they play a much better game than they did on Wednesday. That'll do it for this episode of the Picked Off Podcast. We want to thank you all for listening in. We also want to thank you for your feedback. We want to make this show better because we do it for you. You can catch us every week on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on X at @BitterMike or on Instagram, BitterMike1963. Time is precious, so we appreciate you spending some of yours with us, Mike and Aric, talking the great game of baseball. Have a great weekend, everyone. See ya.
See ya.
Down in pain. Made damn sure the pilot washed his hands. See you